Alright, please welcome Simeon for his talk about market analysis.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for asking me to speak at such a prestigious event. My name is Simeon. I work for a company called Simeon. We are an executive search company with offices in the UK and the USA, and with a strong reach across Europe. I myself focus on senior appointments within architecture and have done so a number of years. Let it be clear from the off, I am not an architect. I do have a passion to find these guys jobs and making sure we better your lives, but I'm an architect in any stretch of the imagination, so I won't be able to relay one thing from Sally, so one to be done in the last couple of lectures. How did I get here to the BCS? Well, Darjit knows my director, Steve, and he mentioned it'd be good to have somebody from May represent the other side of the coin. Give you hopefully a bit of insight into something that you might not know that much about in the other market. So my director Steve came up to me and said, Simeon would be interested in speaking at this functionality. And at the time it was months away, and I said, yeah, of course. Then of course it will hit me that I actually have to come up with something tangible and interesting for you all. So that actually spurred on quite a sequence of events. So I did what I do best, and I delegated all my work, passed on my responsibilities to someone else, in fact to my network, so that I can give you a bit of insight into it from their point of view. So, about me, as I said, I'm an enterprise architect. However, I did conduct this survey going to my network. My network really spans across multiple domains and companies. Financial services, consultancies, defence, public sector and retail. And with my reach across these domains, it naturally led into the question that I have asked in the survey, as my clients are constantly telling me that they want something different from their enterprise architects. I've recruited architects for a number of years. My network gives me a pretty broad range and view of the market itself, which has enabled me to place quite senior architects on major projects with major companies. I've conducted a survey called Does Enterprise Architecture Need a Rebrand? I'm well aware that my title may be a little bit controversial, as well, sitting in a room full of enterprise architects, but bear with me, there is a positive outcome to it. I want you to see the market from the market analysis point of view. This will hopefully give you an understanding of our side and what we see unfolding with our clients on a day-to-day basis. This should benefit you with your search moving forward in the future, and might give you a surprising insight into what the current market thinks of as an enterprise architect. Just so you know, before we see the results, enterprise architects are my favourite type of architects, so don't think too negatively of me the results coming up. Generally, you guys do tend to be the clearest and the strongest communicators and best at painting the architecture picture, which is hugely beneficial when you are doing the work that you guys do. So, does enterprise architecture need a rebrand? Well, I also went to my market and thought I'd give you a full 360 perspective on enterprise architects. Now, my network, as I said, is quite strong and quite established. It has enabled me to kind of go to them and find answers from quite senior positions. So I won't read out all of them, but I've gone to managing directors, CTOs, CIOs, heads of technology, heads of strategy, group chief architects, heads of enterprise security architects, global heads of architecture, senior enterprise architects, and of course enterprise architects, and so on. And now they actually range from companies from Microsoft, Gemini, Visa. This is quite substantial. This isn't going to be a Gartner report necessarily. This is directly done by me to my network, giving you real insight into what the market is looking for, as opposed to Gartner perhaps saying, we went and spoke to loads of enterprise architects, but they actually went and spoke to some third-line support guys and then dress them up as the aides. So hopefully it will give you a very, very strong insight into actually who's out there and looking for what. So, first question I asked is, what is the perception of the enterprise architect in your organisation? And the results were pretty surprising, pretty good. Nearly 60% of the responses stated that it is a critical role in the successful delivery of projects. I'm going to be honest, I'm very glad that was the result, because it could have been a hell of a lot more awkward if it wasn't. Yeah, so I'm pretty proud of that one. The other results came in at just over 13% each, and they were a valued member of operations, but not crucial to delivery. plays a supporting role in the delivery of projects, but ultimately an overhead cost. And then I'm sorry for the last one, I had to be a little bit partial, so not generally required from the majority of projects. But please don't shoot the messenger, I'm just trying to make it a partial test. So, but overall, I think that's a pretty strong finding for the industry and for you guys as a whole. It's still perceived to be very much a useful skill set and one that is critical for the delivery of projects. So, what do I think an enterprise architect is? I actually get this question quite a lot more than you might think, and it's a valid question. You know, I work with you guys every day on the other side of the coin. For me, and it's a personal opinion, I believe you guys are the bridge between the IT and the business. Someone who's responsible for the direction of the organisation's projects and long-term goals. A figurehead to rely on from a hands-off perspective. What I mean by this is someone who is responsible at the lower level, yet someone who can kind of direct team members and spot opportunities to make more productive processes which better affect long term. And then finally, the person responsible for bringing excited stakeholders down to earth without making them lose interest in the project or withdraw budget. I actually know firsthand how excited stakeholders can be. When I was at university, I tried to develop an app, and I knew nothing about IT at the time. I just wanted my app to do what I wanted to do, obviously. So I took my idea to some developers, and I just couldn't understand why it was so difficult for them to incorporate geotagging with augmented reality back in 2012, when it was barely on the market, and I only had £500. So I just couldn't work it out myself. The developer pleaded with me to get a better understanding of technology, but obviously it fell on deaf ears because I just wanted it to work. Needless to say, it didn't happen, and I lost interest in the project. But having been in an IT recruitment for a number of years now, I understand your pain when you go to the business. So, do you believe the responsibilities of an enterprise architect have been watered down? This came back with actually a very interesting and close result, closer than I thought it was going to be. 55% of people believe that the enterprise architects are now just a senior solution architect, whilst 45% say they are still the critical bridge between business and IT. Well, after this discussion, we'll be meeting in coffee area. I'd like to have your opinions on it and see what you guys perceive of all these questions, and there's the survey taken as well. And it's really good to get an understanding of what you guys are for. But this is from the market leaders, as I said at the beginning. So this will make more sense as the slides go on, but I think it's worth delving into this result in a bit more detail. From our point of view, the briefs that I get given from our clients for an EA show that they rarely need a full enterprise architect, which leads me to quiz them on their requirements. Personally, I believe that there are a number of companies who want elements of an enterprise architect, which ties into my story with the app developer. It's the company's responsibility to make sure that they know what they actually want from you, and to be honest about how feasible it is for you to deliver it. I had one client, and I obviously can't mention who that is. However, they brought in a very good enterprise architect that I know on contract. He designed an enterprise architecture framework for them, they asked him to design an enterprise architecture framework for them. He did it very successfully. It sat there for months, like an IKEA flat pack, sat in the corner. You know, one of those things, you know it will benefit you as soon as you build it, but I'll get around to it tomorrow. And that's how it kind of remained for quite a while with them. This is where the watered down element comes in. How much of that framework did they need or want at the time? Excuse me. My contractor and I spoke about it, and I think we came to the conclusion that we thought they kind of got excited by the idea, and when it came to the reality of actually implementing it, they lost interest. Instead, they got the contractor to help out the solution architects and on their current projects. So, you know, him being a contractor, he expected that to happen anyway. However, I know a lot of full-time enterprise architects in their current roles with similar stories who don't have the luxury of being able to pack up after 6 or 12 months, whatever the contract might be. And for your information, the company still hasn't done anything with that very good enterprise architecture. So it just shows you this, that's 3 months later. So it shows that they're still going to be sitting there. Forgive me if it all seems doom and gloom so far, it does pick up, and it is positive results coming up, I do promise you. Here you go, here's one for example. So, I asked, do you think enterprise architecture is dying out as a discipline? This question actually came from a Zapman report back in 2010. He kind of, I don't know if he kicked it off, but he was definitely one of the instigators from it, and it's been talked about heavily with my clients ever since then, and it's been toing and froing between them. Again, I'd like to get your opinions on the next one. However, the results I had, only 31% of people surveyed agreed with this, whereas 70% of people I asked said no, so that's a good result. And I hope you don't hate me anymore and it gets up from here. So I spoke to my network about this, and the majority of them did agree that it can't really die out as a skill set. It's too crucial for companies. However, most of them did agree that it has to adapt to modern times by having a clear definition of responsibility. But how do you adapt? Adapting is very, very difficult. Therefore, I wanted to see what it was that they, as clients, were looking for in a good enterprise architect. So I did a question on what is the #1 quality you look for in an enterprise architect. The options were stakeholder management, which came in at just under 10%, commercial business understanding, nearly 21%, technical skills, just under 7%, vision, strategy, roadmap development, obviously a resounding 60 or just over 60%, and people management, just over 2%. I dare say if I asked all of you now what your thoughts or that question were, you might even have a couple of other alternatives to it, but I'm pretty sure that the vision, strategy, roadmap one is one thing that's pretty much fine for your sector. I said that question asks their #1 quality when looking for an enterprise architect. And I said the most dominant ones is vision, strategy, and roadmap development. However, I know many enterprise architects where this isn't the case. And again, afterwards, when we have drinks, I'd love to get your opinion. Is that the split in your current roles? Do those findings add up to what you do on a day-to-day basis? I bet that they probably won't, and it's quite a bad split with some of the guys I know, and obviously how their job is structured. So the reason being, the enterprise architects I've spoken to, they always laughed at me when I said that question. They wish it was that split. A lot of them are telling me stories about how they were just glorified man managers. They were asked to get their hands dirty at support level. Had a few said the majority of their role was trying to understand the business and spent most of their day chasing shadows. Or even worse, having to tell the business which direction they believed best to kind of go in, and then being totally ignored. So I think we're building a theme here that companies don't always know what they want, and therefore representing an enterprise architect, and I guess being an enterprise architect, having a good establishment and understanding of your role is quite difficult. I therefore wanted to see with an open question what the result would be. So I asked, when recruiting for an enterprise architect, what skill do you find most difficult to source? Slide 10, this really shows where the problem is. The results were varied, to say the least. We've added the normal responses, such as vision and strategy, but as you can see, it goes into far more detail. And if you can't see it at the back, I'll just quickly read them out. So, coherent roadmap development, pragmatism, communication, entrepreneurs with technical knowledge, business understanding, balance of technical and business skills, emotional intelligence, wide cross-domain experience, creative vision, business case development, politically astute, visionary and commercial, experience of large clients, experience of hypermedia, CI/CD development, business architecture, innovation, ability to learn, customer-facing skills, TOGA. So, as you can see, they are quite a wide range of answers. And again, I'm sure if I asked all of you, or we have a chat later, you'll come up with your own perception of what you need to bring to the table as well. But I think this shows that soft skills are crucial and exceptionally hard to quantify and portray in your CV. But they are some of the most important attributes needed in order to progress and succeed as an enterprise architect. As you can tell, this is a huge range of answers. It proves that being an AA is much more than just delivering roadmaps. The expectations on you is so much more than that. But they rarely, but it also shows just how difficult it is to recruit for you and how difficult it is for companies to really know what they want from you because of that range right there. So, The briefs that it's funny because the briefs that we get given from a company looking for an enterprise architect, they will typically ask some technologies they need. They'll always ask you to be strong in stakeholder management, of course, but they rarely mention soft skills, or barely any of those mentioned above, and yet these are the number one things they find most difficult to source for. A knowledgeable recruiter should be able to dig this information out of their client, and likewise out of you guys. However, that is difficult to do, even for us who have a great relationship with our clients, as it can be difficult to verbalise those skills that they need. What we are trying to say here is that as an enterprise architect, you are coming in at a senior position. The expectations of management and leadership are given, obviously, but you must remember that each role will be completely unique with its own set of challenges. If you can display some of these skills above in an interview, you will find it a lot easier to sell yourself to the business. From a company's perspective, if there are any of you out there who are currently hiring, your job will be made infinitely easier if you are specific like this to your HR and your recruitment teams. This is why we welcome you for calls to qualify these roles. It's not to waste your time, it's not to hit our KPIs, it's because we constantly see job descriptions and specifications that are so vague, they might as well be blank pieces of paper. I'm just going to show you an example now of a bank, retail bank that I work with, who sent me this. One of the job specifications I received had the usual company information at the top, a brief generic role description, and then these 5 bullet points. Must have experience with creating roadmaps, define solutions, has managed large teams, provides constant support for technical teams, digital architecture. Now, what this bank was looking for was every single enterprise architect on the market. Because if I put an advert out like that, looking for you guys, I'd crash my company's servers with the amount of responses I had. The problem here is that the bank didn't know what they needed. It's almost as though they were trying to keep up with the Joneses. And I know this very well because I was working with their competitor. They saw their competitor going in the market for a digital enterprise architect, and literally, when I was on the phone to them, said, oh yeah, I think we'll have one of those as well, as if that is the answer to kind of move forward with your project. Moronic. So this isn't the way it should be, but this is the way it appears to be sometimes. And just for a joke, I thought I'd share my funniest ever request from one of my clients. They asked me to find a junior enterprise architect. At the time I wasn't sure how it was going to work, and I still to this day have no idea how it was going to work. They were paying £40,000 for it, and I did try to say to them that it was conflicting words in the exact same sentence you're looking for. So they weren't best pleased with my response. So, is it about rebranding or repositioning? These are some of the responses we had from my network. So they need to be multidisciplined across the piece. Too many people are senior architects, but not true enterprise architects. We have an enterprise architect here stating what I also believe to be a problem. Too many people are senior solution architects, claiming to be enterprise architects. When I call an enterprise architect, they should be able to verbally paint me a picture of how you work. This is collectively the number 1 thing that I get asked by my clients to check that an EA can do. If you can't explain to me, a recruiter, about how you designed or created your framework, then you are never going to be able to explain it to the business, and therefore you'll be no use to the client. Excuse me. It is a critical part of your interview process and your role. I've had very, very, very strong architects rejected from this point alone. The client's feedback was very strong technically, can do roadmaps, delivered on multi-million-pound projects, but then they can explain what they did to the business, and that is it. And it doesn't matter how strong or experienced they are, they're out the door. So I always tell my enterprise architects, paint a picture in somebody's mind and what you can do. The next response, we no longer recruit for enterprise architects, we recruit for hands-on technical managers that understand lean principles. This gives a clear indication that there are companies out there who believe that they can depend solely on their technical teams to deliver with these principles. To me, that seems a bit risky, especially on large-scale projects. And this was a large company as well. I was very surprised to get that response from them. But yeah, on large projects, you're still going to need someone at the top, and if they're looking after other elements of the project, then they could be spreading themselves too thinly. But that's just my opinion. For me, enterprise architects need to have the creative vision that can inspire investment. I like this response. It is definitely what I look for when recruiting for an enterprise architect. Someone who can convince me that they have displayed that in previous roles can add value to the role and to the business. Finally, I look for streetwiseness arising only from experience, not training. This is from a very good friend of mine who is an exceptional enterprise architect, and I believe he really hit the nail on the head. It takes time and battle scars to be able to deliver as an enterprise architect. Too many people try and climb the ladder towards being an EA without being at the helm of significant projects for long enough to earn their stripes. You may have, again, I'll speak to you later, I'm pretty sure a lot of you will have had that experience from a lot of people coming up through the ranks a little bit too quickly. So on to salary, I thought this would be an interesting insight from you guys. I asked my clients what their target salary should be when recruiting a full-time enterprise architect, and I was surprised by this result. I'm not going to be as crude to ask you all what you're earning, but nearly 50% of my clients believe that they should expect to pay $100,000 or more for your services. Now, I'm sure many of you have the experience of earning more than £100,000, but I'm still surprised at how many enterprise architects I talk to who aren't earning anywhere near that amount. Likewise, when I speak to my clients, take job specs, it is very, very rare that they would happily concede that they will have to pay £100,000 more or more for you. They constantly try and push us down, as you can imagine, but this really shows me that they know how much you're worth, when projects and budgets get signed off, the story changes. Whose fault that is, I have absolutely no idea. It differs from business to business. I don't have access to who makes the final decision. I would love to have access to that person because I'd love to go and have a coffee with them and say how ridiculous it is. But I can say these results definitely are effective for the market from my point of view. You're more than welcome to take that slide to any of your bosses and show them that and ask for a pay rise. Slide 14, this is from the contractual side of the review, in case any of you are contractors. £600, £800 a day, at just over 60% is probably about right, if I'm honest. I do have contractors on £800 above. They're in more niche technologies and roles. I also know enterprise architects on 400 to 600, and I also know they're always looking for new jobs. So it's that's quite a fair assumption that way. So I hope those two slides are giving you an understanding of what the market thinks you are worth. As I said, I have a number of enterprise architects that I know who have not been earning that amount. I think this comes back to defining what an enterprise architect is and what is expected of you. With contractors, it's arguably less important because you have the duration of the role and the ability to walk away when you need to. However, with permanent enterprise architects, going back to my previous slides, if the company don't know what they want from an enterprise architect, or crucially only one part of your skill set, then it's something that should be challenged from the off. That is what I try and do as a recruiter on your behalf. We're qualifying the role, but it can be difficult, and like I said, I face a lot of restrictions that I can't get past a lot of the time, unfortunately. Now, finally, it wouldn't be a controversial presentation without mentioning Brexit. I asked what impact will Brexit have on your ability to source enterprise architects. Pretty interesting results. Just over 10% said major impact, just over 37% said moderate impact, and no impact over 50%. I work with a lot of very good enterprise architects in Europe, so I'm actually pretty pleased that this is quite a positive response from the companies in the UK as well. So, to summarise, the enterprise architect is still seen as a crucial role for the successful delivery of projects. Most people don't believe it's dying out, therefore there might be a willingness to adapt, but there must be a willingness to adapt and make a change. It is important to define the role and place within an organisation and clarify the expectations put upon yourself. From a recruitment point of view, this defined expectation is a must in order to keep candidates happy whilst also keeping the client's project rolling. Always keep an eye on the market. If a company isn't utilising your skills as an enterprise architect, then go somewhere that will. Remember, the technology sector you are in is the quickest on the market, so you can't afford to be stagnated in a company that is not progressing you. We will continue to work closely with you in order to progress your careers, and you may be worth more than you think you are. Thank you very much for listening. These slides will be sent to you in an email after the conference, and as I said, there's a hyperlink there to the survey, and I'd love you to fill it out and get a good understanding of your view on the market and my survey. Thank you very much for your time. Questions at all?